Royal Caribbean's Utopia of the Seas is here, and Royal Caribbean calls it its biggest party ship ever. So, is it awesome or awful? I went on board to see for myself. Up next. Hey everyone, it's Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Utopia of the Seas is many things. Of course, it's a brand new cruise ship, and it's offering short weekend cruises. And to that effect, Royal Caribbean wants it to be a party ship. And what I mean by that is they really want it to have a lot going on. They call it the world's biggest weekend, and that's really signified with all the parties and things you can do on board the ship. And what that really means is there are more parties around the ship. Usually Royal Caribbean has more activities like trivia and whatnot, but here there are more events that really focus on the guests getting up, dancing, and music involved with it. And there are a lot of new events on board. There are, of course, the pool parties, the toga parties, college flip cup games, more DJ music than I've ever seen on a cruise ship, and so many bars to visit. In short, there's a lot to choose from, and they really want to have some sort of event going on throughout the day. I was talking to Royal Caribbean's Vice President of Entertainment, Chrissy Coachman, and they really said it's really important to have not only the family experiences that Royal Caribbean is well known for, but also going in a bit of a different direction and having one party after the other so you don't ever have to stop. So if you're considering Utopia of the Seas, is it really this giant party? Will you feel overwhelmed by it? Will it really detract from the experience, enhance the experience? And I really felt like it was interesting because I found more to do on board the ship and some new opportunities. Something I really like about cruising is the choice to be able to try new things. And with these new parties are new events. Now, I'm in more of a unique situation that I cruise all the time, and so as a result, I'm very used to what Royal Caribbean has to offer with their dance parties and events on board the ship. So when I'm presented with something completely new to try, there's a bit of a novelty factor to it, but I think for a lot of people, they see it as something fun and exciting and different. And maybe that's what's attracting them to Royal Caribbean in the first place. First and foremost, I think if you actually try to do all the different parties on board and as well as see the events and go to the shows, you're really going to run into FOMO very, very quickly because there's just so much happening. And at some point, something's got to give. You got to take a nap, go to sleep at a certain hour, or simply want to go to the beach. And I found that there was an almost overwhelming amount of activities happening from as soon as you board the ship all the way into the late night hours. I went to the toga party, I went to the college party, I went to the resolution party, and I gotta say, the good news is, while there are indeed many new party events, none of them were so vastly different that I felt out of place or I thought, wow, this is a real departure from what Royal Caribbean is known for. A great example is the Royal Kappa Chi event, which is a fraternity-themed party. I'm not sure what I was expecting, but it was much more enjoyable than I had planned. It's held in the attic, and there were a number of tables set up for beer pong, but lots of seats around for those who wanted to observe. I was expecting to walk in there and have more of an organized activity. Like, okay, you're on team A, you're on team B, and so forth. And it'd be more of, not forced, but you'd be more inclined to involve yourself. But really, it was more of a just kind of a chill out atmosphere. And there were some guests that were actually participating in the beer pong. In fact, I summoned the courage to play a game myself, and it was something fun to do, and certainly something I never thought I would actually do on a cruise ship. And I think a lot of these parties are really aimed at just that, getting yourself a little bit out of your norm, out of your routine, and giving you that memory of saying, hey, look, we played beer pong on a cruise ship. And that may be that little thing, but it does stand out for a lot of folks. I think you're going to find the parties falling into one of two categories. One is either the pool parties, of which there are many different pool parties on board, and then there are parties that happen late night. Throughout the day, otherwise, I think the activities tend to be a little more pedestrian, a little more norm, and also Royal Caribbean also has, of course, the shows on board the ship. You've got the shows in the Royal Theater, Studio B, and the Aqua Theater, and then on top of all that, you've also got Where the Ship is Going, Perfect Day at Coco Key, and Nassau, Bahamas, and I think they're really looking at it as a collective experience that not one single thing stands out as like, wow, this is the best thing ever, I can't wait to go back again, but all of it together really coalesce to form a fun, weekend party. If you go through and list all the things you absolutely want to do on Utopia of the Seas, and then add all the things you like to do, I'm going to bet your list exceeds the amount of free time you think you'll have. There's so many fun activities, and when you add in the time at the private island in the Bahamas or even a shore excursion in Nassau, you're going to quickly start rationalizing one activity over another. Royal Caribbean may have wanted Utopia to be the ultimate party ship, but it also came up with the ultimate FOMO ship. This is part of the cruise line strategy to dominate weekend cruises because they want to make sure they have a combination of a great ship with great places to visit. And while the parties might be the focus, well, there's also other things happening because, of course, you've got great dining on board. There's a new railway. There's a revamped and enhanced Izumi, Giovanni's Italian Kitchen, and, of course, you have also the other returning favorites like Chops Grill, 150 Central Park, and even Hooked. If you've cruised with Royal Caribbean before, I really don't think it's that much of a departure of what the core Royal Caribbean cruise experience is like. They still have all the great bars that you're used to, the shows on board the ship, and plenty to see and do. And as I've often said, a cruise is what you make of it. You really don't have to do any of these activities. You can simply sit in your room and lay in bed and look at your phone and take naps all day. You could sit by the pool and enjoy some time suntanning, or you could be that party animal that's down there and enjoying every single event on board. So don't feel like these events and parties are things that you absolutely have to do or some sort of a rite of passage on board the ship. The core Royal Caribbean DNA is still there, and the experience of that really doesn't change all that much. If you're brand new to Royal Caribbean, or maybe you're just considering Utopia of the Seas as your first cruise overall, I think the thing that's going to stand out is that it's not a traditional cruise experience in the sense that when you look at the activities there, there's a lot that really maybe brings some focus there and maybe even might be the reason you consider booking a cruise. Royal Caribbean wants Utopia of the Seas to be the ultimate ship for a new cruiser, and you're going to find a lot of cool things on board the ship, and I think it's nice that Royal Caribbean is trying to, change up the game plan a little bit and not just offer more of the same. You have the new pesky Parrot Bar, which is located right on the Royal Promenade, and it is indeed a tiki bar, but it actually follows more of Florida culture, if that makes any sense, and it's trying to be a hybrid of both Florida and the tiki bar experience. It's a fun little place to hang out. I think when you board the ship, you're instantly going to see that and then be like, okay, this is a little bit different here. In fact, there's actually a drunken parrot that's actually a robot parrot that sits there and bemuses the guests that are there, and as the day goes on, well, the bird gets a little more boisterous, let's just say. Then, of course, on Deck 4, you have the Royal Railway Utopia Station, which isn't a party at all, but it's a cool experience, an immersive dining experience in which there are train cars that seat 24 people each, and they can enjoy scenery from destinations and go through a whole storyline with themed menus and entertainment. Royal Caribbean is going to roll out new shows coming up soon, including the new Silk Route experience, which is going to be coming in about 45, 60 days or something like that, where you're going to have more of a date night feel, whereas certainly the Wild West is certainly more of a family type experience. And what I appreciated about the experience overall on Utopia of the Seas, that it really was a choose your own adventure type feel. Not everything is high energy. It could be if you'd like to, certainly go from party to party and have that, but you could also have a very relaxing experience on board, and there were instrumentalists in Central Park and quiet restaurants around the ship, plenty of seating on the pool deck that's far away from the pool parties where you could really relax, maybe have a nap or just suntan or both. Basically, Utopia of the Seas does not have to be the ultimate party ship if you don't want it to be, but there will be more opportunities than any other ship to find those events. I certainly didn't have time to do every single party on the ship. The two that really stood out to me, first of all, was the plunge party at the pool, which Royal Caribbean describes as a Las Vegas pool party. I like that it's just something different beyond like the usual, hey, we're doing a sail away party. So that really felt like something completely different and new. And then, of course, the college party, which it's interesting, on the first sailing for the inaugural, it was held at 1 a.m., which I thought was way too late. But then on the 4-night cruise, it moved up to 11 o'clock, which was far more palatable. And I thought it was just neat to have that there. I certainly wouldn't mind going there with a group of friends and, having an evening to be able to try out flip cup or beer pong. I thought it was something different and a little bit of a departure from what we've come to know. So now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments below, are you excited for the different parties and events you can find on Utopia of the Seas? Does the fact that Utopia is a party ship lead you to maybe consider Utopia of the Seas, or is it something you're kind of staying away from because it sounds a little more than you're looking for? Let me know in the comments below. While you're down below our video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications. That way, YouTube lets me have a brand new video to share. This has been Matt from RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com, and we'll talk again real soon.